Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Since falling to Indiana at home, the Michigan State men's basketball team has gone on a very impressive 4-game winning streak to put them at the top of the Big Ten standings. And we'd be remiss not to start this week's show with the most recent victory for the Spartans. On Wednesday night, the Spartans were on the road taking on Maryland, and with the game tied at 55, junior Trey Holloman called game and sent MSU back to East Lansing victorious.
They gotta go. Gillespie for three. Call or no. Holloman looks the clock. Half court for the win. Oh! Oh my goodness! Holloman from half court to win it on the road.
I seen the rim and then the shot clock going down, so I had to throw it up, man. We had practiced those, man, so I just got it up, man, and went in.
When's the last time, if ever, you've had a game winner?
A game winner in high school, my senior year to go to state.
That was a lucky shot, but nobody can say we didn't deserve to win this game. I mean, we made some bad mistakes, give them credit. We threw the ball away a little bit and everything, but we deserved to win this game. To come into this place, I'm so proud of my guys, and Trey made the big turnover, and he made the lucky shot, but we deserve to win. I'm not taking that as a lucky shot.
Why do you think you guys deserve to win?
We played our tail off the whole game. Didn't you watch it? We were up 9. Okay, we made some mistakes, but we led the whole game. Our defense was unbelievable. I thought our guys did an incredible job. Once we got Chase, they did a good job. They went zone. We got Jason those ball screens when they went man. He did a hell of a job, and that's the way it goes.
Prior to the game with Maryland on Wednesday, we did have a chance to sit down with head coach Tom Izzo to talk about the team's 3 wins prior to their trip to College Park, including their very impressive 75-62 win over rival Michigan in Ann Arbor last Friday night.
And Michigan State has done the job on Michigan's guards. Outside of Namari Burnett, they've shut the ball off on everybody. That was Richardson that time. Spikes it.
Obviously, less than 2 weeks left in the regular season. You've talked about this is where you want the team to be at this point in the hunt. How do you guys now finish the hunt in the regular season?
Yeah, you know, it's that's my dream every year. You know, 2 weeks left, you have a chance, and we do. We have a chance. Hopefully, we handle the pressure. You know, that'll be the next thing. This team seems to have done a pretty good job of that, but now it gets down to the nitty-gritty, and I say it's an exciting time, but it is also a nerve-wracking time.
Yeah, you've talked about how the schedule is backloaded, and this is sort of a gauntlet of a stretch you're in right now. The 3 games of Illinois, Purdue, and Michigan, what did you just enjoy about the way the guys not just played, but the prep leading up to those?
Yeah, I thought my assistant coaches did a phenomenal job, and we give a lot of credit to people all the time, and people that don't really know what goes on. But when we got back from Ann Arbor, I mean, I brought everybody, from every manager, every trainer, every video guy, and I just said, there's never been a week that is considered more of a team victory than this week, because everybody had to do their job in a very short period of time, and our scout team had to learn 3 different offenses in 7 days. I mean, that's not easy to do. Our video people had to put it together. Our managers were working like Santa's elves. And my staff, I thought, did a great job. So I just sat in my office, enjoyed the view, and, you know, that was it. But incredible, everybody worked together. That's what I enjoyed most. I didn't see a weak link in the chain, and that's what you have to do to be successful.
It's clear you're obviously very motivated to get back to winning championships, Big Ten, Final Fours, all that stuff. How does your motivation motivate the players, or does their motivation motivate you? How does that work?
You know, I hope my experience helps motivate them, and then they motivate me. But my experience and what I've been through, and I think can be helpful to them. You know, I can talk about pitfalls, and I do. I talk about everything that I've seen happen, good and bad, and you know, everybody looks at it differently. Some people don't even talk about things. Some people talk too much about things. I've tried to balance it out, and I hope I motivate them, but I know they motivate me.
In the win over Maryland on Wednesday, MSU freshman Jace Richardson was the team's leading scorer. And when we come back, we'll continue our chat with Izzo to talk more about his talented freshman and how he can help an upperclassman. We'll have that for you right after the break.
When you grocery shop with MSU FCU Cashback Plus, you get cash back. When you buy prescriptions, you get cash back. When you travel, dine out, buy gas, make home improvements, get up to 20% of your hard-earned cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Discover how at msufcu.org/cashback plus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The win over Maryland on Wednesday marked the 6th straight game Michigan State freshman guard Jace Richardson has scored in double figures. Against the Terrapins, he had 15 points, and in his first taste of the Michigan State rivalry, he had 21 points. Richardson and Jaden Akins are the only two players on MSU's roster to be averaging double figures in points, and we continue our chat with Izzo by talking about his very talented freshman.
Step back. Richardson has been awesome. And I'll do that. Jace Richardson just breaking you off, and he can shoot it from three. Scores it in a variety of ways.
Someone like Jace, I'm sure, obviously is pretty easy to get motivated. Is he sort of turning into a go-to guy? Is that how you view him at this point?
He is, and rightfully so. I mean, he's earned it. He's gone through the process. He's figured it out. I've figured it out. The players are starting to figure it out. And it's been an unbelievable positive experience. He's just gotten better in different areas, and he was already very good in some areas. But his ability to handle a little bit of pressure, to be efficient, and again, that'll be my word for him as long as he's here, because he's efficient on every end of the court. He's efficient in practice. You watch film with him, he's efficient there.
I know Jaden is obviously the guy that coming in you were like wanting to be the go-to guy. So have you ever had it where maybe a freshman can help a senior?
Oh, they get along really well together, and I think that is helpful. But give Jaden some credit too. You know, he's embraced that. He's embraced what Jace has given to us, and yet realizes that if we get both wings going, that really makes it easier on our point guards, and we become a better team.
Another guard I want to talk about with Trey, obviously with Jace starting, he's been coming off the bench recently. He seems like a type of player where that does not affect him mentally. I feel like some might get affected by that.
And every player wants to start. Player wants to have the most shots, and every player wants to star. But special players are able to accept it and then not sit back. It's not like he's not a starter. You know, him and Cohen are my 6 starters. I mean, I could start either one of them. But it was right for what I thought Jace deserved. It was right for what I thought would benefit our team. It was right for our rotation, which I think has played its part. And yet, not everybody could handle it like he has. That's why he's a captain. He's handled it, and he's flourished. I mean, he's better than he was before. And I have so much respect for him for that, and I also have some appreciation for him for that.
The decision to make Trey a captain, what allowed him, or what traits did he have that you saw in him to become a captain for this group?
You know, I thought he had experience. His mother was a coach, and so I knew he came from good stock. He gets along with everybody. He's kind of has a very positive attitude to things 90% of the time. Takes care of his business. So, I mean, I just thought he was a good captain and is a good captain.
This time of the year, do you at all get antsy with March coming up, or how do you stay focused on what's coming up for you guys?
Well, to be honest with you, it's been such a whirlwind, and you know, so many games in such a few short period of time, and so many big games. I haven't thought past tomorrow. You know, what I'm trying to do today is make sure I have a good practice today, and the gauntlet keeps rolling. You know, I mean, we just get maybe an extra day here, twice on times when we didn't get an extra day, and we were getting home at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So it's been a little better, and yet we made it through that gauntlet. We've learned what it's like for the quick preps. My staff was unbelievable. Like I said, all those guys did a great job. And someday I hope you do a special on our scout team, because to think of what they have to do in that short a period of time, they're not only great at it, but they deserve a lot of credit for it. And I gave them that on Friday night.
MSU's next game will be on Sunday here at the Breslin Center against Wisconsin. Tip-off is set for 1:30, and it'll be the 4th straight game Michigan State has taken on a ranked opponent. So if the Spartans want to win their first Big Ten title since 2020, they will certainly have to earn it. And coming up after the break, we're going to be sitting down with a player who has helped them get to the point this season. We'll have that for you right after the break.
I love getting out and trying new things, but my seizures have always kept me back. Thankfully, the providers and researchers at MSU Healthcare work together to get my epilepsy under control. So now I can try anything.
At MSU Healthcare, helping you do you is what matters most to us. In fact, it's our mission. Visit healthcare.msu.edu to find a provider.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Tom Izzo always preaches, you do good things, you get more playing time. And junior Jackson Kohler has been a prime example of that for Michigan State this season. He is averaging 8 points per game and had a career high 23 points against Illinois a few weeks back. The junior from Utah missed some decent time last season due to a foot injury and recently sat down with our Haley Schoengart to talk about what he learned during his time out and how it's helped him now this season.
This is your first year starting. What did this offseason look like to get you from being a bench player to now in the starting 5?
The journey from, not only just last year, but freshman year up until this point has been so intense and so crazy and, really amazing, because it wouldn't be a journey unless there was, some crushing lows and amazing highs. From what happened last year with my foot injury kind of, taking away most of that season, it was, heart-wrenching and all that stuff, but my parents and coaches and everyone tried to really help me and focus on, instead of focusing on what was taken from you, what you can, start doing now to make sure that when you do come back on the court, you're ready and that this thing almost as if it never happened. Luckily, I was surrounded by amazing teammates and coaches and parents to remind me every day that in a grind when, I couldn't play and I can only do is watch, is, support your teammates, but also make sure you come back the right way, not in a sad way or in a kind of a broken state. Make sure you're just hungry, ready to get back to gain what you lost. I took last summer very seriously, and coming into this season, I just wanted to show everybody, like, hey, just like, even though this happened, this doesn't affect me as it once did.
What was it that kept you going while you were sidelined?
What kept me going was honestly just the hunger of the game, knowing that I would be back eventually. It was honestly good to just learn from the guys, because as I was out, I got to ask a lot of questions, being like, hey, like I got to see the game from a different angle. And at times it was a very, hard to accept, like I can't play right now and this really sucks and I don't know if I'm gonna come back, as I want to. I just kind of held on to that thought that like I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna help the team whatever way I can. It might not be the way I wanted to, but I want to help the team win. And that, at the end of the day, was the most important.
Being able to see the game from that different angle, how has that helped you this season?
It's actually helped me quite a lot, honestly, because in the game as a player, you're thinking of your own perspective and your perspective only. And watching all those games last year from the bench kind of helped me see it as a coach a little bit. And you got to see, like, even though you think you're doing something right, you might not see the entire picture, which leads you to, might not be in help defense, or you don't see this happening, you don't see this happening. So when there are times in this season where I feel like I'm doing a good job, but sometimes I'm being coached, being like, hey, you got to see this side of the ball, you got to see this side of the ball. It helps me realize, like, hey, I saw examples of that last year where they didn't see the other side of the court, and that led to a basket. just say, okay, I have to see the whole floor, I have to see everything that's going on, and that kind of helps me, you know, as a better defensive player, but also as an offensive player.
Offensively, you've really taken a step this year. What's worked so well for you?
Like last year, I would say I never really found my role as a team because I never really got to insert myself into that lineup, which happens when you're in a foot injury and you miss the first part of the season. You never really know what your role is, your dynamic. So going into this year in the off season, I wanted to kind of put my foot down on like, you know, like, okay, here's what I can do, like this is what I can provide, and shooting was one of those things. And it kind of took a lot of confidence, you know, to, you know, go from being a low post player completely to kind of stepping out and shooting some threes. And the thing is I've always been able to shoot. It's different when you shoot in high school than you shoot to college as a junior. And so, but it required a lot of reps, a lot of practice, and a lot of, you know, off hours just spending on your mechanics and your form. And that's helped me come to be where I am right now with shooting those threes. But also as an offensive player in the post, I have a lot of trust in my guys passing out of the post, trying to create plays, you know, try to get some assists, you know, and it helps when you have knockdown shooters and you have guys that, you know, want to give you the ball in the post, knowing that, you know, we can just play off of each other.
Kohler's high school experience was different from most, attending 4 different high schools in 3 different states, which helped the 4-star recruit land on Coach Tom Izzo's radar. Experiences he leaned on while being sidelined last season. Through high school, I really never had an injury like that before, like the foot. And it was really hard, but thankfully I had 4 times as many people to help me through that, because I'm still cool with everybody from those schools. And each one of them, I remember hearing from each and every one of them just being like, hey, you got to keep your head up. You know, this isn't, they all gave the message of like a minor setback for a major comeback. And that, you know, that phrase is kind of engraved in my mind, because every time I hear that, I always think of that journey of the injury and coming back.
The men's basketball team here at Michigan State isn't the only team on campus looking to win a Big Ten title. Coming up after the break, we're going to head over to Munn Ice Arena to check in with the MSU hockey team, who has a chance to win its 2nd straight Big Ten title this weekend, which is the final week of the regular season. We'll have that for you right after the break.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
This weekend is the final week of the regular season for the Michigan State hockey team. Last weekend, the Spartans entered their series with Penn State at the top of the Big Ten standings, but after losing in a shootout on Friday night and then losing in regulation the second night, MSU allowed Minnesota to take over first place in the Big Ten by 2 points entering this weekend. There's still a chance the Spartans can win a 2nd straight Big Ten title. They just need Minnesota to lose at Penn State and then take care of business at Notre Dame. We had a chance this week to catch up with Adam Nightingale to talk more about potentially winning another Big Ten title. Well, obviously not the weekend you were hoping for at home against Penn State. I guess what was the biggest takeaway, and what are you hoping the guys learn from it to help you now against Notre Dame?
Oh, I think you're right. Obviously, disappointing weekend for sure, but I think that this is sports, right? There's a lot of great moments and some not great moments, and this definitely the weekend for us wasn't. And we haven't hit really a bump in the road. You know, we've been really consistent. And, we lost at home to BC. We won 11 in a row, lost and won 9 in a row. So we've been really consistent. And I think the lesson you learn is, there's a couple of ways your season can end. One was Friday night when you're not enough guys playing their best, right? And I know the guys wanted to, and I've talked to them about this. This isn't to point fingers or anything, but at the end of the day, we need everyone's best for us to be a good hockey team, and that wasn't the case. And credit to Penn State, I thought, their goalie played well, and we beat them at times. So I think we hit 4 posts that first night, and And then the next night, we dug ourselves a hole, right? We passed it to them 3 times, they scored. And we've scored a lot of goals this year, and we did a heck of a job clawing back in, but you want to learn those lessons before in the end, right? Because you'd hate to know that, hey, potentially you can end your season this way.
Seems in a way similar to the men's basketball team here at Michigan State. They lose that obviously tough home game against Indiana, and then they win 3 very impressive games right after, I guess. Do you feel like losses can, in a way, show the guys a little more about the way they are playing at that moment?
For sure. I think, we try to get the guys to understand it's not about the scoreboard, right? Like, especially in our sport, right? You have so many other variables that can happen. You try to control as much as you can, but specifically the goaltender position, right? You can run into a hot goalie, but you got to find a way to bear down. And guys have done a good job understanding when we've won some games this year that it wasn't good enough, that we need to be better, and I think that's led to us being consistent. But for sure, when you lose, that those meetings have a little more teeth.
I know you guys don't control the way things play out this weekend now, but you're still in a position to win a Big Ten title. So I guess, what's the message going into this final week of the regular season?
Yeah, I think that's what you want. At the end of the day, you go into the season, you want to compete for championships, and we're just going right down to the wire here. Obviously, we need some help, but we just got to focus on Friday and making sure we got 2 more practices this week, but focus on Friday, going down there, play a tough rink to play in, a team that is better than their record, and they're going to be excited their senior weekend and Coach Jackson's last weekend. So it'll be a great test for our group, but really just focusing on one game at a time. Obviously,
Notre Dame, coached by Jeff Jackson, a Michigan State alum, and obviously now going to be coaching his final series for the Fighting Irish. Just what impact did he have on your coaching career?
Yeah, a huge one. Even just growing up in Sheboygan, my brothers and I went to pretty much every Laker game we could go to, and if we didn't, we'd listen on the radio. But I think that really just watching how hard his teams played, for one, how disciplined they played, and how well conditioned they were. That was kind of their calling card, the first program really to make a commitment to off-ice training and helping players develop that way. And we would go up and watch them practice, so watching how hard guys practiced. They'd be lifting and doing dry land training, kind of in the concourse area before they had their new weight room. So that really left an impact on my brothers and I. So even when I got into coaching, just knowing that that's something you can't control, right? Is pushing your guys and making sure their bodies they're in great shape, and then just helping me as a young coach. My older brother worked for him at Notre Dame, so obviously talking to my brother, learning things he learned from Jeff, and then he did a coaches clinic where he'd bring guys in that he had a relationship with, and there's NHL coaches, college coaches, major junior coaches, but it was all about trying to help and grow and help everyone's the game grow. And so a ton of respect for him. You look at what he's done at Notre Dame. It was a program that was kind of hit or miss year to year, and the stability he's brought there to make him a contender every single year. He first coached at the U.S. national team when he got that job. Look what that machine that place is now, of spitting out players, and it's kind of taboo when they started it, and coaching in the NHL. So yeah, a ton of respect for Jeff, and I think it's awesome that he's a Spartan. With your brother being an assistant for him, do you plan on having a lot of family down in South Bend this weekend at all, more than normal? I don't think this weekend there'll be a ton of them. My brother's out in Buffalo working for the Sabres, so he's there. I think our kids got hockey, they're traveling all around. So my parents are potentially going down, but even my parents, right? My dad, he coached my younger brother predominantly growing up, and he was looking to try to, didn't play hockey, and he went up to a coach's clinic up at Lake Superior, and Jeff Jackson presented at it, and he tells a story that he was the most thorough and detailed one of any of the coaches. And so I think, a guy like that had an opportunity to help Michigan amateur coaches and just didn't go through the motions, put a lot of time and thought into it. So I know my parents feel the same about him.
Jeff Jackson graduated from MSU in 1977 and is in his 20th year leading the Fighting Irish. He's also the winningest active coach in Division I men's college hockey. Puck drop between MSU and Notre Dame Saturday night is set for 6 o'clock and can be seen on Peacock. That'll be it for this week's show. As always, we hope you enjoyed. And before we go, our play of the week is an obvious choice. If it's good enough to be #1 on ESPN SportsCenter, it's certainly good enough to be our top play.
Now, the play of the week, sponsored by Chupan & Sons.
They gotta go. Gillespie for 3. Goal or no. Holloman looks the clock. Half court for the win. Oh! Oh my goodness! Holloman from half court to win it on the road.
10,000 Michigan children are in foster care, and many of them need a temporary home. Are you open?
As a foster parent, you help a child reach their goals.
You make a game-changing assist.
You give a child the home advantage.
And you do it because you know every child deserves a special team.
Ready to cheer on a child? Take the first step to become a foster parent today.
When you grocery shop with MSU FCU Cashback Plus, you get cash back. When you buy prescriptions, you get cash back. When you travel, dine out, buy gas, make home improvements, get up to 20% of your hard-earned cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Discover how at msufcu.org/cashback plus.